So what we're going to do today is we're going to continue our look at Chapter 5. Today we're going to take a look at measurement scales and the different types of measurement scales and what they can do. So we're going to look at measurement scales. We're going to take a look at true score and measured score and see basically how these different measurement scales all line up. So just to kind of recap what we did last time, the true score is the actual real score. And in psychology, a lot of times, this true score cannot be directly accessed. So as we saw last time, you cannot directly measure depression. You can't see depression. We don't have a microscope that lets us take a look inside a person's mind and see how much depression they have. But there is a true amount of depression that an individual has. That's the true score. The measured score is their score on, for example, the Beck's Depression Inventory that we have access to. And again, reliability and validity was all about how much does your measured score, in fact, measure your true score. We're going to see, however, there's another aspect to this, and that has to do with the relationship between your measured score and your true score. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow us to do things, or it's going to limit us from doing things with the measured score, depending upon that relationship. So in this class today, when we're showing the true score, we're going to visualize it, and the true score is always going to be in this solid lined box. The measured score is going to be in a dotted line box, just to keep those two concepts separately. But let's say that we were measuring something that is pretty easy to visualize. Say we were measuring people's heights. People have a true score on their height. So Shaquille O'Neal, new CEO for Papa John's, he has an actual true height. He's a certain height for real, and he has an actual height. LeBron James, got tired of updating his jersey. I don't know where he is right now. But anyways, LeBron James has a certain true height. And Muggsy Bogues used to play for the Raptors back in the early days. One of the shortest NBA players of all time. He has a true height. And if you were to put their heights on a scale, this is how their true heights would be distributed on that scale. So Shaquille O'Neal is just a little bit taller than LeBron James. And LeBron James is way taller than Muggsy Bogues. So this distance is going to be representative of the difference in the actual true score between these individuals. So far, so good? All right. That's the true score. This is their true heights. We can measure their true heights using a variety of different measurement scales. One measurement scale is to use a tape measure. You literally start at the bottom, you go up to the top of their heads, and you see how tall they are. And if you used that tape measure, you would find out that Muggsy Bogues was 5'3". If you used that tape measure, you would find that LeBron James is 6'8", and you would find that Shaquille O'Neal is 7'1". Importantly, the distance between the true height of Muggsy Bogues, the true height of LeBron James, and the true height of Shaquille O'Neal is reflected in the distance between the measured score of Muggsy Bogues, the measured score of LeBron James, and the measured score of Shaquille O'Neal. So we're going to see that this sort of parallel structure between the measured score and the true scores leads to very powerful measurement scales. All right, so it's all about the relationship between your measured score and your true score. Let's take a look at another way to measure height. We could measure height on a relative scale. We could just say, all right, I'm going to classify one of these players as the shortest. I'm going to classify one of these players as being in the middle. And I'm going to classify one of these players as the tallest. Note that this is a measurement scale. It's highly reliable. All of us are going to be able to say, yeah, Muggsy Bogues is the shortest. All of us would be able to say, yeah, LeBron James is in the middle. All of us would be able to say, yeah, Shaquille O'Neal is the tallest. So it would be highly reliable. It's also very valid. We think we're measuring height, and in fact, we are measuring height. However, notice that there's no real distance between shortest, middle, and tallest in our measurement scale. So as far as these are three separate categories, they're equally distant from each other. But notice that for Muggsy Bogues, shortest to middle is a huge change in the real life, the true heights. Whereas from middle to tallest, it's a small little change. So a change in category is sometimes a huge change in the true score, whereas on the same measurement scale, a change in category is sometimes a very small change in the true score. So we end up with this not one-to-one, not parallel structure, and as we're going to see, that leads to a much weaker measurement scale. All right, so that's the kind of basic thing we're going to be looking at. What are these measurement scales, and what is this relationship between the true score, that actual real score, the concept that we're measuring, versus the measured score, the score that we actually have access to, the score that our scale tells us about? And what is the relation between your measurement scales and the actual truth? So whether it's this parallel structure here, or whether it's this skewed non-parallel structure here, that is the essence of what we're looking at today. So that relationship between the scores leads to four basic types of measurement scales. And those four basic types, in increasing order of power, in increasing order of things that you can do with them, are the nominal scale, and then after that we got the ordinal scale, and then that's followed by the interval scale, and then we have the top of the line, the best scale, which is the ratio scale. So again, all of these are measurement scales. They all have reliability, they all have validity like we saw last time, but you can do very few things with a nominal scale, and you can do a lot of things with a ratio scale. So the importance of being able to recognize these scales is a very important skill in psychology.